Hey YouTube world, friends, fam, newcomers, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Kyle's vlog. I'm glad that you guys are here. I appreciate you guys, whether you're new or you've been with me. You guys are amazing. Please hit the like button if you are new, so that way I do know. I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything but your time. It's free. Um, anyways, if you are new, you can read in my bio on what I do here. That way you can familiarize yourself with what I do here for the channel. That way I can get right into this. But before I do, because I'm going to talk about Good Friday, and what it actually means to me, what it pertains to, and what it means to me. You guys might be hearing it for the first time today, or maybe the 10th time. Sometimes it's good to just, have like a refresher course. You know what I mean? It is Easter week, and so tomorrow's Good Friday, and Sunday's Easter. So I'll do an Easter video vlog with like a part 2 kind of thing, Sunday afternoon, sometime. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. Before I get into this, I want to say thank you for the outreach, the love and support that I've gotten from all of you guys. On Monday, when I posted the video about my uncle, it had gotten a lot of love. I really do appreciate it. I'm still having a really hard time. We all are. I miss him, and it just hurts, when you lose someone you love, and appreciate, someone you look up to. After losing my dad, I've never stopped thinking about him, and now I'm dealing with this. So it's been really hard, but I've been really appreciative of your guys' love and support, which means everything to me. So thank you. All right. Now my sponsor today is Pepsi Mango. I'm just kidding. No, they're not. It's a joke. But this is actually really good. So if you like different flavors of sodas, you might like this one. Who knows? Unless if you're allergic, then don't drink it. Like allergic to mango. All right. So, this is the second video that I posted tonight. I had posted a different video earlier today, which I hope that you guys checked out. If you didn't, I definitely encourage you to do that. I went to go drop off flowers to one of the sites that is acknowledging the victims from the Boulder shooting last Monday. This last Monday. No, not this last Monday, but the week before. Really scary. Really scary and really sad. And it was just my outreach that I needed to do. But also is just to give love, share love, my respects. Yeah. So definitely check that out. It's a very somber video. But hopefully you guys can find some comfort in that. I didn't do a whole lot of talking, obviously. I just did what I needed to do to drop off the flowers. And you guys watching that video showed your respects to the victims as well. So appreciate it. All right. Anyways, so to get into Good Friday, I thought I would talk a little bit about crucifixion. And I encourage parents to, if your kid is watching, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about crucifixion and what it pertains to. So I just want your parents present, or a parent present. Some of it can be hard to listen to. So, but I will try to be as respectful as I can. All right. But crucifixion is actually it's a Latin word. It's crucifixio or fixus. Sorry. Which means fixed to the cross. And that's what basically crucifixion is. It was for criminals back then. It was punishment by the capital, by the Roman soldiers, by Pontius Pilate, or whoever was in charge. The criminals were that was execution. And the way that they did it was either they binded their hands and their legs to the cross, or they nailed, which the nails were either here or here, so that they would be in pain. It's excruciating, and they would be up there until they basically die of exfoliation, like lack of breathing, or like water, like in their system, and then breathing. So that's what happened. But obviously, when it came to Jesus and the crucifixion, obviously, it became more of a picture, right? His one in particular was made into a cross, a T. And yeah, so let's see here. Prior to Jesus being crucified, for 3 years prior, he had traveled with 12 disciples, and these were followers of Jesus Christ. They had met him, they heard stories of him, met him, they traveled with him, they were with him until he had, did what he did for Good Friday. One in particular betrayed Jesus. He went to the council. He went to Pontius Pilate and the Roman soldiers and everybody, and he basically turned Jesus over to them so that he wasn't in trouble or killed for following Jesus. And so he had wanted money, of course, and his freedom for doing what he was going to do. And Jesus had previously talked to them that Wednesday prior, which is why Holy Week on Wednesday, it is Passover dinner. It was the Last Supper, where he had met up with the disciples again, and it was the Last Supper because he was sharing with them the news that he was going to give his life away to save us, to save everyone. And obviously the disciples couldn't believe it. Some of them are saying, hey, we'll follow you till the end, we'll follow you into death, that kind of thing. And Jesus didn't want that. They wanted them to live on, to pass along the word, but also what they had witnessed through Jesus's life and his miracles that he performed within those 3 years that they were with him. But one in particular, Judas, like I said, betrayed him. And God had spoken to Jesus. Jesus knew about it, but didn't say anything. He wanted the one that was betraying them to reveal himself, and ultimately he did during the Passover dinner, and walked off, and that's where he met up with the Roman soldiers. And then Jesus was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, which was in Jerusalem, when he was met by Judas. And of course, the Roman soldiers did not know who Jesus was. I mean, obviously they heard stories about him, but they never actually met him. And so because I forget why they did it in the middle of the morning when it was dark out. You can definitely read in the Gospels, Mark and Luke, and John and Matthew, like the 4 Gospels, to kind of familiarize yourself with the story if you want. But I forget what it was. I'm sorry. But anyways, it was like basically the middle of the night that he was taken. But they had, or Judas had revealed him to the Roman soldiers by giving him a kiss on the cheek. And Peter was with him. Actually, the other disciples were with him sleeping while he was praying. And Judas kissed him on the cheek, and then they arrested Jesus. Peter was trying to defend Jesus he had cut off an ear of one of the soldiers. But Jesus' way of dealing with it was being crucified. He didn't want anybody else to die in his name, kind of thing. So his way of saying to Peter was, hey, if you kill by the sword, you die by the sword. And that's not the way that my Father wants it. That's not the way I want it. And so Jesus had healed the man, the soldier's ear, and gave him a new one. Anyways, after he was arrested, he was brought to Pontius Pilate. He was brought before the council. He was brought forward to people that Jesus grew up with. Like, his own people were there to watch this. And again, if you read about Holy Week, you read about some of the miracles that he had performed that week. But I don't know. It was just evil, right? Evil can take over in an instant, and there was one criminal who was already arrested, and he was already on the cross. He was already basically just hanging there, and there was one other criminal who was awaiting trial, Barabbas, who was a criminal. He was a thief, but also a killer. And then you have Jesus on the other side. Now, again, Jesus did not commit any crime. He was arrested for saying that he was the Son of God, which he is the Son of God, but they were basically saying that he was fake, that he was lying, that he wasn't telling the truth, even though he was telling the truth. And Pontius Pilate was starting to kind of believe, he couldn't really believe that because he knew Barabbas was a criminal, but he never really met Jesus, so he didn't really know if it was true or not, right? And then, so how he went about it was he had the crowd choose who lived and who died. And so they had the choice between Barabbas or Jesus. And again, Barabbas was a killer and a thief. But they wanted to release him instead of releasing Jesus. And again, this was all God's plan. And I'll share with you a Bible verse at the end that goes with what I'm talking about. Kind of help you, you know. But anyways, so yeah, Jesus was then taken, and he was humiliated. He was beaten. He was spat upon. He was whipped with like a whip with shards of bone on it that ripped his body. And he was also given the crown of thorns, which again, it was mockery that the Roman soldiers were doing. He was calling himself a king, which he is the King of Kings, King of Kings. But of course they didn't believe that, obviously. And so he was basically beaten in front of everybody. He was beaten in front of his mom, Mary, John. And then the crowd was just spitting at him, hitting him. It was harsh. And then so they had him beaten within the city, but then they had him carrying a piece of the cross with him to the hill where he was crucified on Calvary, which was a mountain. So he had after being beaten with the crucifixion, with the crowns and everything, he had to carry the cross on his shoulder. And then he was roped, and then they nailed his hands and his feet, stood him up with the cross, and he was just hanging there in pain, of course. And if you read in kind of the Bible, it kind of talks about like the time of when this all happened. And so it started from 9 a.m. Like the torturing and all that, to 12, and then he was on the cross until about 3 o'clock. So he was on there for a couple hours. Yeah. During him being hung on the cross, they again were mocking him. Oh, sorry. No. Forgive me. He was tortured before 9 a.m. So they're saying here that he was on the cross between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So he was tortured and stuff before all that. And meanwhile, people were shouting insults at him, spitting at him, and then when he was on the cross, everybody was like trying to tell him to save himself, like all that stuff. And again, his purpose was to save us. His purpose was to die for us. But he was telling them during the arrest that, my place is not of this world, that I am a king, that I am the Son of God, and that my kingdom is much, much better than here. And of course, they took that as an insult and made that mockery of him. And so they made a headboard and nailed that to the cross, which read King of the Jews. So that was another mockery thing. Sorry. They offered him a sponge with water to drink. He denied that. And then when he officially died, one of the things that they do for mercy to make it a quicker death was that they would break your legs or their legs with like a hammer. And they didn't do that with Jesus because he was already dead when they went back to the cross. And they stabbed him on the side here in the liver section where, water, blood had poured out. Anyways, so remembering the crucifixion, that is what Good Friday means. That is what us Christians celebrate. Even though it was horrifying for what he had to endure to save us from our sins, he did it because he loves us. He did it because he loves you. And Good Friday is a day where we can remember that. That even though it wasn't a Good Friday for him, his intentions were obviously of love and that he was saving us. So obviously he was doing what he wanted to do. I'm sure it was hard, but he went through it anyways. Why? Because he loves us. And I think that's incredible. And yeah. So that's what Good Friday means. That's what it means to me. What it means to me is just that it just goes to show that God was telling the truth, and that it says in John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life." So to make it to heaven, to live eternal life, we got to believe in Jesus. We got to believe in God. We got to trust that it's all true. And this was that. Like, he did that to help us. He did that to save us. When God first created the world, way over 2,000 years ago, or when he created the world, he created you know, he created the sky, he created earth, he created light, he created all that. And then he created two people, Adam and Eve. And he trusted them to kind of help and nurture and take care of the land and animals. And he had said that everything is yours here except for the forbidden fruit, which is a fruit that you were able to see the future and of the world. And he had tested them and said, if you don't do that, basically, because then you're inviting in sin. And they were tricked by Satan. Satan appeared as a snake, a serpent, and had encouraged them basically to do it. And they did it anyways. And that's what invited sin into this world. Was disobeying. It was disobeying. Sorry. And so when we sin, we disobey God's commands. We disobey His love. We disobey what He has called us to do. And then we ultimately kind of show our disrespect to Jesus after what He had just gone through with the crucifixion. So just as Good Friday comes around, or as you guys are taking in today and this video, I just hope that this will help you kind of read up on the Bible and talk to your family about it. Maybe start going to church so you can open your mind up to and your heart up to what God is really trying to reveal in you. And then of course, the one thing I forgot to mention was that Jesus, before he died, had said, I will rise again in 3 days. And obviously the Roman soldiers didn't believe that, but he did. And that's what Easter is about. So we'll talk about that on Sunday. So really, really cool, guys. It just takes a little bit of time to read up on, and you're open to a new thing. And I promise you that it just feels good. So, anyways, I'm sorry that this went on way longer than expected. Obviously, to kind of dig into this is what I had to do. I hope it wasn't boring. I really hope that you guys really took into account to what I'm trying to say here. And I just hope it helps. But it's also to remind myself too, of what Good Friday means. So, like I said, it just means to me so much that God gave me life, that He saved me from me. Even though I'm not good, I still make mistakes and I still sin, which I'm not proud of. And when I admit my sins and I ask for forgiveness, God, I feel so much better, That's what God does for us. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope that you guys enjoyed this. Hope this opened your heart up, your mind up. Read up the Bible. Talk to your parents about it. Maybe start going to a church. It's a good thing. It's good for the soul. Promise you. All right. That's it for this video. Again, thank you guys for the love and support for this the other day. And yeah, thanks. We'll see ya. Remember, live the moment, never fear change, and keep the faith. Kai Lui out.